Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
My name is Roman. As a director of SEO, I am leading and encouraging the SEO team at Boostras.
Hi everyone, I'm Büşra. You may know me from my content marketing videos and YouTube videos. I'm working as a senior SEO executive at Boostras for almost a year right now.
Woo!
Hello again, this is Adem as an SEO associate, as in previous webinars, and I am here again.
So, what we will cover today? Guys, today we have 25 plus slides, and there is lots of news, lots of tricks that you can...
Firing.
It's firing, yeah. We are gonna smile again.
Don't worry, guys. I won't talk a lot.
Yeah, we know. We check your slides.
And for those who not know about what is the goal of these sessions, I can say that the goal of this session is to keep you updated on the SEO industry in shortly, of course. We have lots of tricks, and I have 7+ years in this industry, so I have experience. So I give you lots of tricks or news or my thoughts about something in technical or content SEO. Also Büşra and Adem as well. So what we'll cover in this session is Googlebot stop crawling your website if your Robots.txt is unreachable? What you should know while limiting the Googlebot crawl rate? How to set your individual door pages to get more organic visibility? What does Google mean by making your content readable? The official way to get your pages AMP friendly in WordPress. Is Google limiting us while we use request indexing in exaggerated way? And lastly, in my slides, the SEOFOMO Chat with the community experts.
And I will cover the topics such as new Web Vitals lane in the performance panel recordings, John Mueller clears confusion about the mobile first indexing, paying for bloggers to write is against Webmaster guidelines, the effect of a trailing slash at the end of URLs, and what should your SEO KPIs be?
And in summary, is Geo-IP redirect only harmful to SEO, or does it affect another digital marketing areas? And this year, we will talk about why local SEO is more important than other years. And we'll talk about how Google accesses our business data, structured citations, and unstructured citations. And I will talk about the impact of Pointy on local SEO, which Google bought last year. And we will take a look at which platforms the voice assistants obtains data from.
So in a nutshell, we have about crawling, about Web Vitals, and about local and international SEO.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. So let's begin with a Robots.txt file, which usually are underestimated. Last weekend, I watched a video regarding Googlebot and web hosting from Google's Webmaster conference in 2019. Google software engineer Jin Liang have mentioned some crucial rules on how Googlebot crawling a website. So step by step, Google first logs if there is any Robots.txt file in a website. If the file returns 200 or 404, then it's okay. But in my opinion, if you have a website with, for example, more than 500 URLs, then you must use Robots.txt file. Why? Because Googlebot will crawl all your website if you don't have Robots.txt. So there might be duplicate content, there might be URLs field filter, or something like you don't want to index to be visible on Google search. So you must use Robots.txt file if you are a medium or big website. For small website, of course, also it's good. And the most important step in here, if the file is returning 5x6 every single time, then it's a much serious problem. Why? Because if your Robots.txt is returns 5x6 all the time, and also if it's unreachable, your website will be not crawled by Googlebot. So I recommend you to check your server side if there is anything with speed or something like that. So make sure you have your crawl stats in Google Search Console very well, like without 5x6 problems or without unreachable. So if you have these problems, then pretty much Googlebot will not crawl any URL from your website, because Googlebot it's think to be safe. It wants to be safe, to be your website safe, and to be your search results safe. So I recommend you to check out your crawl stats or your log file. Also, if you want to watch this conference video, you can go through this link, Googlebot and web hosting, Webmaster Conference MTV 19. Here we have what should you know while limiting the Googlebot crawl rate. This page is still active. You can reach this page by search it on Google, because on Search Console you can't find this URL. Personally, I didn't find it. And you can limit Google's maximum crawl rate right here. Of course, it's not recommended, but Googlebot always is trying not to overload your server. So first, that is why it's recommended to let Google optimize your website. Google's crawl rate is not always working perfectly, so you should know that. You should keep in your mind about this. It's not my words, by the way. It's Gene's Lang words. And 3, your website will not get more crawl if you set a higher crawl rate. If you enter here like high volume, then Googlebot will not crawl your website much more than before. So it's a misunderstanding. So you should keep in your mind also that. As a recommendation, don't limit your crawl rate, trust, and leave it to Google, because Google knows its job. So also read the warnings from the below documentation, because there are 2 or 3 recommendations which are yellow warnings. You should know about them if you want to change your crawl rate. Is there any questions?
Nope, but you can ask your questions, by the way. Feel free to ask us anything about these subjects or your ideas.
Yeah, I'll be very happy to answer. And this one, here we have some brilliant tips I noted from John Mueller regarding doorway pages and why we should not in our website. In a nutshell, doorway pages do not bring any value to users, which is equal to a low search visibility on Google. So if you get users in your website, then I want to share with you well-said words from Christopher Jones. The most expensive acquisition you are gonna have to make is getting someone to your website in the first place. Guys, it's really brilliant words in this sentence. So if you get users in your website, it's really precious, something precious. So if you have doorway pages and if you get users to this page, then pretty much you will lose them. Why? Because these pages are with poor content. So Googlebot understands this very well, and it also included on Google Search Console coverage report, which is called pages indexed but without content, I guess. is that instead of creating different pages with various individual specific keywords, then create one that explains your product real well. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that, by the way. John Mueller, thank you for this SEO office hours. And also I have an additional recommendation here. Even if you have a few pages on your website, detailed and user-friendly pages always are well recognized and well ranked pages by Google. So keep in mind that just create pages that you, when you look at them, you will be in love. So like you bring a service, right? You want to get more clients. So make a page that is really very quality, very detailed, very user friendly. Don't make it for just Google search. Make it for users. Make it to get conversions or to get sharing or to get backlinks even. That's my recommendations. Of course, for me also, the right pages are broken links, because when a user goes to a page which in there is a broken link, internal link, then pretty much user will exit from your website. So keep in mind. By the way, this screenshot is from Screaming Frog. You can analyze your website in there, and you can get this also on for your website. These red links are broken links. So by the way, Google, keep in mind that there is broken links in your website. About this one, this is very really important. We care about users' privacy because of GDPR. We want to convert traffic into leads, but we forget about mobile users like these ones. The number of smartphone users in 2021 is almost 4 billion. And according to Sales Cycle client data from 2019, 65% of e-commerce traffic came from mobile devices. Wow. And by 53% of sales has done from mobile. Yeah, it's normal because we as users are like more comfortable with mobile, with smartphones. So in this screenshots, you see Wired and NPR.org. These websites has two different cases in here. This one, we care about your privacy. Okay, you care about me, you care about all users' privacy. Okay. But don't show it because I want to read your content. I know, I believe, I trust you. So you don't need to make a pop-up like that. If I want to check my privacy in your website, then I definitely will find this page to read details. So just make a button, I accept, and with short descriptions. And if they want to get more information about your privacy and policy, then just make a link there and users will click. But in that way, you make a page with which is potential penalty cost because of no intrusive interstitials rule. Yeah, it's right. Which is coming with the page experience algorithm update in May 2021. Also, here we have a subscribe form where the title is really long. So in that way, you also can lose your potential client or potential reader. Don't do that. Don't be like that because it's a potential penalty cost. Okay, now we have an powerful and easy to use AMP plugin for WordPress. It's coming from Google. It's official. It's more useful for technical and non-technical users. Automates the process of generating AMP valid markup, which right now we use this for with another tools, third-party tools. Provides effective validation tools to help you ensure your site remains fully AMP compatible, and much more. Of course, there is an introduction to the new features. So if you want to check them, you can go through YouTube to watch this one. Also, you can right now you can download this plugin on WordPress.org/plugin/AMP/. So here, I found this blog post on Aleyda's SEOFOMO newsletter. Here, according to Nick Leroy's test, we are limited to use request indexing on Google Search Console. So if you want to indexing dozens of URLs with in this way, then you have to know that you can do it between 10 or 12 URLs per 24 hours. It's logical because Google Search Console. It's also a tool, so they also have a server. They also have limits. So keep in mind that it's just a tool. You don't need to request indexing for every single page. You can just add your URLs, your active URLs in your sitemap. And you can make your sitemap working dynamically, and in that way Google will find your sitemap, will find your URLs, and as soon as possible will indexing them and will show in search results. Nick just wanted to dive deeply into this and learn these results from the test. And by the way, Nick, I liked your last name. It means the king. I don't know if you know about this, but your last name is from old French, so it means the king. Hi, if you are here. And lastly, I want to share with you is Aleyda organizing every Monday an SEO Chat event on Clubhouse, which right now Clubhouse is something new. And if you have an account, you can just go through Aleyda Solis profile, and you will find this public group, and you can attend every Monday at 6 p.m. CAT time. So thank you. If there is no questions, we can go through Büşra.
Up to now, there's no questions, but feel free to ask us about your SEO-related or content marketing-related questions from the chat box.
Yeah, of course. So thank you very much for listening to me. Now we're going to Büşra.
Yeah, this week there were a lot of announcements, important SEO announcements and content marketing announcements. I will just start with a few of them. So one of them is the new Web Vitals lane in the performance panel recordings. So, Chrome web tools keep improving with each update of Google Chrome. And now you can see Web Vitals info in the performance recordings. The only thing you need to do to update your Google Chrome to version 88, and after you do that, you can see the Web Vitals. How can you use them? You may ask, how can I use them? So when you go to the Web Performance tab and check the box besides the Web Vitals, and after hit the record button, you will see the Web Vitals info in your recordings too. And I guess it's a really good and quick alternative to Google Search Console. You can just make quick, if you don't have access to Google Search Console account of a web page, you can use this to measure the Web Vitals. And it also shows us that in the future, Web Vitals will be really important because they added it here too. So it's a really good improvement for us. And another news is actually from John Mueller's Twitter account. He had a really good tweet thread this week about mobile first indexing. It started with the canonical tag problem of the mobile first indexing. I guess a lot of people asked him, how should we change it? And he needed to create a diagram and answer those questions on his Twitter account. And it was a really good and insightful thread for us. So as far as we can understand from what John Mueller said, there is no need to change the canonical URLs of if you have m dot version, separate mobile versions of your desktop pages. So whether they are pointing to the desktop version or not, you don't need to change them, because Google find the mobile URLs and use the mobile version as the canonical URL here. That's why you don't need to use your software development power to change all of your mobile versions canonical URLs right now. It does not make a difference for Google. So John Mueller was saying this actually. But here there was a problem when it comes to hreflang, language annotations. And Google says that they may be a little bit confusing for them to detect them. That's why mobile versions should point to the mobile pages, and that for desktop ones should point to the desktop pages. Sorry, and it may be a little bit confusing. Don't forget it. Don't forget to check it, guys. But also, John Mueller ends this flood with this. Just go and make a responsive web page for your website instead of separate mobile versions. Better. And I also think the same. And also, if you have a responsive web page, you should also consider your the current version of your mobile UX design, because with the mobile first indexing, you should not have anything on your desktop version which you cannot show on the mobile version. Just be careful about it, guys.
Yep.
Or
just make it responsible, right? Make a responsible website.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, sometimes I see that there are category pages and they put content at the bottom or the top of the pages with a slider at the desktop, and they are using the same design for mobile without thinking of mobile indexing. And when you go to mobile, you cannot use that slider, for example. You cannot consume, the user cannot consume the content. We should be user friendly.
Or you can have different rank on Google search results, because if you have a separate subdomain like m.domain.com and also domain.com is your homepage, then there might be a different content, different sections, or different internal linkings, because it's not dynamically change. So content might be different from each other, from the desktop between mobile. So your ranks also will be maybe different in Google.
So this was also a question from last week's Google SEO office hours, and you can go and watch it. You can start from the 48 minutes, because John Mueller answered these questions right at that point. So someone asked John Mueller whether is it a problem if I pay for bloggers to get backlinks, and he simply answered this as yes, and he said that paying for bloggers to get backlinks, to win backlinks, is against Webmaster guidelines. But in terms of backlinks, Roman, it's always a problem with a lot of clients. Everyone asks this thing: how should we get backlinks? How should we buy backlinks? There are people out there still thinking of buying backlinks, and it's a really destructive. It may be a really destructive thing for your website, for your organic or SEO performance. It's both the same thing actually. But he also says the same thing with us with the other SEO tools that make backlink analysis for us, toxic backlink analysis. If you want to promote your content via backlinks, via paid links from other websites, you should tell them to add the annotation nofollow or sponsored to their linking system. In that case, of course, it won't have any effect on our ranking or page domain authority, but it will help to promote our content, and it's a good thing, and it's harmless actually. You can do that, but in terms of backlink, I guess we should write high quality content to gain them. And a lot of people ask how. I know everyone is asking how, and most of the people do not believe this, but when we write high quality content, we can achieve that, because more people will come, more people will find their answers from that piece of content. And in order to do that, most of the time we just think of writing a content as a keyword research. We make a keyword research, and after that we are just saying that, okay, I'm going to write a long article, and after that I'm going to scatter all of the keywords along the article, and I'm fine. There won't be any problem. It's so good.
Exactly.
But it won't be good, because everyone is making content marketing. We are not living in 2010. We are not living 10 years ago. Okay? So we should be unique if you want to have more traffic as well as backlinks. So in order to do that, we should reach our audience in the correct way. And to do that, we should find the questions they're asking.
Mm-hmm.
If we can give answers to them, then they will be okay, and they will share these articles with other people too, because they will have the same problem in the future maybe. And in order to do that, we can use a lot of free and good tools, such as people also ask this part of the Google search results. It's a really good thing. You can see all of the questions people ask there. And with the help of a Chrome extension tool called SEO Minion, you can also download all of that questions, their answers, and the pages. And voila, you can find your competitors' pages for that specific questions too. You can also know how your competitor gets ranked with that piece of answer. And also, if you are living in USA, you can also use Google Question Hub. It's a really good free and insightful
that's a good feature.
Yeah, and everyone is
We don't
using
have it.
I see on Twitter, LinkedIn. They really love that. In Turkey, we don't have it for Turkish language, but we will try to find some hacks to use with other parts of Google. Thanks to Google, we can get many insights from it. Actually, we don't need any tool to achieve this. Actually, and I prepared a really special YouTube video for this, how to use these tools and how to find the best topic for you. I am talking about 2 or 3 different tools, and that video will be on live at Boostra's YouTube account on Monday. You can also watch that.
And we can say, so don't pay for backlinks. The more you create phenomenal content, the more you get backlinks, the more you get engagements, the more you get shared, etc.
So another interesting topic that we have been talking throughout the week with among each other. So the effect of a trailing slash at the end of the URLs, whether they should be or not. We asked this question, we talked about it, and also we came across a really good article in Hrefs blog. You can find the link below. And here, I'm asking you a question, Roman, here.
No way.
Okay, Adam, I'm asking you this.
Okay,
so you
I'm
have
listening
a
to you.
article. You have a blog article. Just let's assume that blog article's URL path is some domain, x domain / blog / what is bookkeeping, and should we use a trailing slash at the end or not? Or what happens if we do them both?
I think we can say how important the optimized CMS, in this situation. And for me, just with slash, but if we are using with slash and without slash, that's a problem. But for domain, as you mentioned about that,
According to the Ahrefs article, and as far as the stuff I just searched after reading that, when you put a trailing slash at the end of a domain, right after the domain, or not, it's the same thing. Just in the picture you can see in the slide. But when it comes to the top folders and not sub URL paths, it may be a problem, because putting a trailing slash at the end of a subfolder, at the end of a URL path, gives the signal that it's a subfolder. But when you do not put that, it can be understood as a separate URL path, as a separate page. And this may create some problems in Google Analytics reporting, Google Search Console reporting. And I don't enter into that much detail, by the way. You can also read about it a lot on the net, but I'm just talk about the its effects on SEO here, because we are talking about SEO here. What's the effect for SEO? We can ask this. You may ask this to me, but if you do it wrong, if you do it right, it won't have a negative effect on your SEO performance here, because if you have the both of versions of that URLs with trailing slash and without trailing slash, and if you are not using a proper canonical URL for these pages, canonical URL system for these pages, then it will be a problem, because they will be treated as separate pages, and moreover, they will be treated as duplicate contents, and it will be a problem for us. In order to solve this, we should use the proper canonical URL. If you want the which version, if you want to be indexed, we should use the canonical URL as that page, and we can solve this, or we can totally give redirection to the page that we want to be indexed. I checked this with a lot of web pages, including Aleyda Solis blog, and they're mostly using the redirection method. But you may come across using the both versions. It's a good thing to check, I guess.
Yeah, of course. So if you want to make duplicate content in your website, you can do like in subfolders /. So right after that, you will get loose from search visibility. Of course, I just kidding, but it's a really serious problem if you have this one. Yeah, and if you are very big website.
My final and the most lovable SEO slide this week is from the GIF you can see. I love dogs. They're funny. So I'm asking everyone, what should your SEO KPIs be? Guys who are listening to us or watching us, you can also leave your answers to the chat box. We can talk about it. Okay, we won't talk about it a lot because of the time limits. But I want to highlight here this week, an article in SEMrush blog was published, and it was really insightful for SEO KPIs. And recently we are also talking about how should we reflect our KPIs, how should we check them, how should we reflect them on our performance reports too. It's a really good practice for us also. And time is changing. 2 years or 3 years ago, we could say the customer, okay, our KPIs will be increasing the traffic, the impressions, the average time on page or bounce rates. But right now, customers approach SEO more aggressively because there are a lot of competition who are using web platforms right now. Everyone just, with the effect of the coronavirus, also using internet, and there's a hell of a competition out there. So they want to see the return of investment when they use SEO services too. So in order to please the customers, our clients, we should also give some detailed KPIs to them, such as, okay, we will uplift your revenue by 10%, or we will solve your coverage issues, or we will reduce your page speed by 2 seconds, or we will increase your keyword visibility 100% and more, hopefully, etc. We should give detailed KPIs to our customers. Of course, We may not put all of these on every customer because their analytics system are different, their goal tracking systems are different, but it will give the impression, the common impression, I guess, when I just say these examples. For average time on page and bounce rate data, they may be problematic when the customer made some changes their tracking codes without your knowledge. And we also came across that kind of stuff with some of our clients sometimes when we put average time on page KPIs and when we start to check them. For example, I had a customer, Roman, that customer, and we had a minimum 3 minute average time on page target. But one day I just opened their analytics account and I just realized that it magically increased to 22 minutes. And it's impossible in one day. And they still haven't changed it. It's still 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So it may not be an effective KPI for to show your customers the effect of your optimizations all the time, because customer may change it without your knowledge. So what do you think about it, guys?
I think you did really good for this slide.
Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you.
Okay, so hello again. And last week I talked about the factors that affect international SEO and the consequences of Geo-IP redirect. And actually, my next presentation is exactly about this. And if you want to get more information, you can visit our Bootstrap's website and the blog section and read this article. And it's about Geo-IP redirect problems and what we focus on in the international SEO.
Great.
And first of all, we have a brand and operating in the UK. And our website sells accessories, and our brand, whose main market is the United Kingdom, England, and offers the pound currency to users connecting from the UK. And they haven't customized their website for another languages, and it doesn't change the language option, but it's users from different countries, but they offers in the products in dollars. So I mean USD, US dollars. So guys, that's the question. Is it Geo-IP is harmful for just SEO, or is it also harmful for another digital marketing areas? What do you think about that?
I think it's also for PPC, it's also for user experience, which is UX, etc. But this is three most important.
Yeah, I think so. And our PPC team want to advertise here. And by the way, thanks, Efnan, if you are watching me, to share this problem with me. And but there's a mistake they get, because the amount of money on the landing page doesn't match with the data feed. And at least the mail sent by Google Merchant Center shows this. And in fact, the same problem in SEO also experienced here, since Googlebot crawl our website based on US location, and it counters the dollar version here. And because of the exchange rate difference, Google can't match product prices, and it finds it deceiving. And it says you, okay, it's in data feed, it's this price, but in the landing page, it's more expensive. So what's your goal here, And then it sends you this error report. And in fact, even if you use Geo-IP for user experience, is not always effective. And in particular, it will negatively affect your organic performance also.
Great.
Okay, guys, there was a great article for local SEO that I had been reading at Moz lately, and a nice blog with lots of experiences and predictions for next year. And in fact, many of my next slides have points that inspired me from this article. And thanks for Miriam Ellis for this beautiful article. And as you know, Core Web Vitals. And Core Web Vitals update is the most important issue of this year, of course, because Google will seriously, and therefore the performance of our website may be affected. So why will this affect local SEO? For example, let's give a very small example. While a redirect chain doesn't cause problems on the desktop for speed, it's so small time, but it can cause short time, but it can cause a delay of like 1 second on the mobile side. That's a real problem. If you want to connect to a website and to get information while walking, and even a 1 second delay will be high for us. That's why we need to analyze and solve the speed issue in detail on the mobile side. We need to be deeper into the situation. Okay, all small businesses need to have a website, and more in this year, because they need to be more visible on the local marketing side, and therefore a website where they will share their data and give information about their businesses like NAPs. It's inevitable. For this reason, content management system that we create free and easier to use and without coding knowledge can come to the fore, like Wix or like GoDaddy website sections. And even though this search engine optimization is a serious problem, but it will not be a problem for maybe for small businesses, because they want to create their website in this easy to use CMS and like Wix or like GoDaddy website builder, they will come for this year probably. And this is the data from we3text.com. Okay, structured citations and unstructured citations. What's the difference between them? And structured citations are actually the information of our businesses on the websites that have name, address, phone boxes, and store this data. And Google can get our data from this NAP property and make suggestions if it's close here, if you are users and searching something, and if you are close here, and Google can suggest this NAP to you. And unstructured citations, on the other hand, are data generated like from our information in a blog post. Like I want to give an example now. Maybe 20 places to eat baklava in Istanbul with the most beautiful view. That's so Onedio blog post, this listing. And therefore, the more active and we are online, and the more Google can actually recommend our business to local searchers. So, on which platforms can we present our website and have structured citation? Moz has an amazing resource built for this. You can find out which platforms offer your NAP more effectively according to your industry. And you have like NAPs, but which industry and which country, that's the important points actually, because that's data is for based USA, and you can find it in depends on your industry. Thus, being visible on these platforms you choose according to your industry will accurately help you to be visible on the Google side also. And you can find it, and you can find it's based on your industry, and you can be more visible.
I didn't see on the list Yandex. It's not Google.
Yandex?
Yeah, here it's not Yandex.
Yeah, but Yandex is more Russian. Maybe their market share is not good in USA, but it's on the list in Turkey probably. Yandex. Oh my God, guys! Can you know this GIF on the slide?
No.
No. Have you watched Her, the Spanish movie?
Nope.
He's speaking.
We don't know Spanish like you, man.
No, I don't.
He just
But this movie is so popular, and I didn't hear you, Bishra. Can you repeat?
You just lost your connection, and we couldn't hear you for a few seconds. I was just making a joke. He went at the best part.
Oh my God! So I have a internet. So which part you lost?
You were talking about the movie.
Yeah, and this movie is about like a guy who is talking with assistant and getting love, falling in love with the assistants, voice assistants, and you can find out like how important is the voice assistants here, and what should we do to target our users who use voice search when making local calls. And first of all, we can start by knowing which operating system our users have. And according to SEMrush voice search reports, and Apple's businesses listing is from its own map application, and Google from My Business. And what draws attention is data taken from Yelp, like Amazon. And Yelp is not a good alternative in Turkey, but if you want to be more visible in the USA market, you need to keep your business updated on the Yelp. So, Roman and Bishra, I have a question for you again. Are you ready?
Go for it.
I'm always ready.
Do you remember how much Amazon's organic visibility decreased from old data, right? And probably Bishra mentioned about that with data.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that data.
Yes, and I guess this was not the first time, and it won't be the last also on the Google side. And Pointy provides ease of sale to retailers selling in any industry. And when we cannot find the product, we need to we cannot find the product we need in the local market. So the first solution that comes out our minds is apply to e-commerce, like with a wide range of products and such as Amazon. And Google acquired this Ireland-based startup the last year, and they actually showed products in local searches and setting up to the local Amazon system. And therefore, a user who doesn't want to wait for cargo or want to try and buy his product will able to try by finding the closest store with local search. They can find it easy way because Pointy powered website of the stores are optimized for search engines. And it's said that it will gain more importance toward the end of 2021. And there were another most important platform that will affect our local SEO and our local visibility is also a sub-brand of Alphabet. And Alphabet, Alphabet is equal Google. And we can be more visible by using this Pointy. And be more digitally visible at the same time to be more locally visible, Thank you so much for listening to me and take your time.
Thank you, man. It was amazing. So I see that there is no questions, but if you have any questions for our future weekly SEO, just drop them in type form and we will answer them in the next week's weekly SEO. Thank you very much to attend this, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a great weekend.